sizes. So हमें क्या करना है? We want to check the column which has got pass fail. So we're now checking the column which has pass fail has a value underscore counts. So this is equal to 1. अगर आप अलग लाइन में चला रहे हैं तो it should work. If you want to print this, they should be. So can each one of you tell me how many pass fails you have in your last column? So how many ones and how many minus ones do you have there? Because that will tell us how classified the data is. Give me a number. So minus 1 is 1463. We don't know if minus 1 mean fail here. Okay, it could have meant pass, but that's least of our concern right now. So all you want to see is we have two types of classification result here. दो ही हैं, right? So there is a minus 1 type and there is 1 type. Minus 1 के data set 1463 है और 1 के 104 है. So it's very heavily tilted towards minus 1. So it's a good data set. It's not equally divided. It's not a pure thing. Okay. Everyone is with me? Good. सर जी आगे वरना मतलब मेरा टाइम हो रहा है, right? And finish it after the lunch अगर जरूरत पड़ी. So if my last column was not numeric, this is the time to assign a numeric value to it. Okay. If other things are not numeric, we may also have to assign. It's a good idea to assign numeric values to this thing. नहीं है तो फिर देखा जाएगा. Now we need to tell to Python कि कौन सा कॉलम हमारा आउटपुट कॉलम है और कौन से कॉलम इनपुट कॉलम्स हैं. ये तो बताना पड़ेगा ना. अभी तो डेटा प्लेन है. हमारे साथ ब्यूटी ये है कि हमारा लास्ट कॉलम आउटपुट कॉलम है. तो व्हाई डोंट वी टेल इट दैट गिव द कॉलम नेम एंड दीज वैल्यूज एंड वी मेक इट इनटू अ y वेरिएबल. सो एक नया वेरिएबल क्रिएट कर रहे हैं विद जस्ट वी आर हैविंग द लास्ट कॉलम. Got it? Without error? Good. So what do we do next? So y might be an object at this time. It may not be a bad idea to change this type to become a normal integer. And that which we do with this line, y is equal to s type is integer. What's the name of my column? Fail pass or pass fail? So pass fail. Now, everything which is not the last column is my training data. हमारा डेटाबेस बढ़िया है. लास्ट कॉलम को अगर हटा दें तो एवरीथिंग एल्स इज माई इनपुट डेटा. Let's do that. Let's make X my input data as just drop that particular column and leave everything, and that becomes, so हमारे पास X और Y ready हो गया. Now generally जब भी आप कोई AI का मॉडल लिखेंगे तो most of the time you will spend in data pre-processing, actual and of course training time on this thing, but coding में data pre-processing में आपका जितना ज़्यादा टाइम जाएगा उतना अच्छा है. Okay? Now हमारे पास एक बड़ा डेटा सेट है और हम इसको we are going to learn how to classify it. How do we check कि हमारा classification सही है कि नहीं है? So one thing we could do, कि उसी डेटा सेट को हम दो भाग में डिवाइड कर दें. एक भाग ट्रेनिंग के लिए यूज करेंगे और जो सेकेंड हाफ है that we will use for classification. We can do it manually. Manually we can say row 1 से 1400 रो तक को आप use it for training and use the rest of it for testing, or the sklearn, the scikit-learn model. This is what we'll be using quite extensively, this library. It gives us a library already to split the data between testing and splitting. Somebody is looking at that computer. क्या चल रहा है? You're okay? Not okay? We are okay, good. So let's do it automatically now. So now we import the train test split package from sklearn.model_selection library. And all we do is we run a very simple command. We find a training X data, we find testing X data, training Y data. Let's make everything capital just for fun. And we create a Y test data, which then takes the input of X and Y. And here are two parameters worth checking. One is, what percentage of my data should be used for testing? Here I've given 40%. Let's reduce it to 20%. This is the number we'll play with later. कि कितना set of data is enough for us to train a good classifier. Now this partitioning is generally random. Okay? What we were going to put here, random state is equal to 20, to ensure every time I run this model, it partitions it. So give any number to random state, but keep it same for every time you run your code. Okay. And जो घबरा रहे हैं, there's only one more slide and we are done with it. So is everyone with me? Have you been able to partition your data set into a training and testing data set? Should I move on? Good. If I come back and I see somebody has not done it, this is the time you will see my Rudra Roop. So if I have to slow down now. Okay, so let's go to the next bit. So now we have got a data set, we have divided it into training and testing. Now all we need is to run our classifier. So once again from sklearn, we import random forest classifier. And once we have imported it, then life is very easy. All we do is we create a model, or we create whatever you call it, of random forest classifier. We give some hyperparameters. To start with, let's give a number of estimators to be 10. So it forms 10 decision trees. You can increase the number of decision trees later. And then very simple, you do model.fit, which runs the training data, and then you do model. So this model.fit will give you will create the model which does the random forest fitting between the two sides of training data. We have used capital Y, so let's keep capital Y. And then we take the testing data and do a prediction based on the same model which we have fitted. And if you're all working fine, by now you should have got your random forest classifier trained and fitted. Any errors anyone is facing, or it's all working fine? And we are done. As far as prediction is done, we are done. We have just need to check how good our prediction is. Right? So that's the only step we will do. So pretty much most of your things will follow the similar strategy. Create the data, import the library, create a model, fit the model, and then predict based on the model. So 4-5 lines of code. Of course, if you are very interested, you can go and write your own code for a random classifier, a random forest classifier. That will be the fun to write, but let's not delve there today. So, having problem? Good. But here you have these slides. You don't need to take a picture. The slides are online. You can download. Okay. Let me see. Why? No. What was the output column name? क्या नाम था? Okay, let's have a look. डाल के देखने से क्यों? हाँ तो लिया नहीं तो बुलाया क्यों नहीं? वो होता है कंप्यूटर जर्नी हमको देख के काम करना शुरू करता है. Good. How are you?
I was not able to run the code on the same Jupyter book. It was overloaded, so I started doing it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. This is your home Jupyter? Is your Jupyter getting overloaded क्योंकि आप memory कम हो जा रहा है आपका?
Take a new document again.
Oh, okay. आप fresh लिख रहे हो. ठीक है. You can see the direct slides online. Google Drive पर जाएंगे ना?
I'm comfortable.
You're comfortable with videos. Okay. The modern generation comfortable with videos. आपको कैसा चल रहा है? हो गया? Fitting prediction हो गया? You didn't get any, so why don't you call me? Huh? Come on, let me see. Smile is not an answer. It's a pretty smile, but it's not an answer. So you're able to read the code. Okay, so that works fine. Good. And then you were able to get the sizes. Did it work? This did not work. Why do you have y is equal to here? So before proceeding, let's delete this. Right? It's taking space. So this did not work.
Your print is not clear.
Actually, you know what? If that's not coming, don't print. Go straight. That will tell us whether this line was true or not. So, there was something problematic. What is problematic? There's something problematic way before that. Pie plot. So don't trust कि आपका अगर this is not pilot, this is pie plot. यहाँ पर Are you running on your machine or have you installed matplotlib here? नहीं है तो कोई बात नहीं. We're not going to plot things for the time being. Okay, let's just keep it as it is. So let's run it again. Can you show me that file, the CCAM file? What's the name of the last column I want to check? Okay, then I'll be back in a second. Yeah, Hold a second. नीचे एरर में मत जाइए. किस फर्स्ट लाइन कौन सा एरर दे रहा है? So model dot आपका मॉडल नहीं काम कर रहा है क्यों भाई? What is the error it's showing? आपको nan हटाना पड़ेगा. Okay, then do the previous step where we remove the nan. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just go through the theory for one more slide and then I will come back, and because some of you are already at a stage where you have got it working, others are waiting. So once you have done the prediction, the next step to do is to check how good my fitting is. And there what you have to do is, you can do it manually, you can find the errors manually, but again there is a metrics package there. So import the metrics package and it can immediately check how good your accuracy score is. The final thing to do is to see, are there any particular columns which are more important for this yield prediction? And that we can check from a feature list. We can identify which of these columns are more important in telling us whether it's passed or failed. Okay. And that's it. That will be all for random forest. And those who have done random forest, I would want you to see if you can implement the decision tree classifier One word decision tree classifier, and if you follow the exactly same step, create your model, fit your model, predict your model, and then check how good the model is. And what you need to do is then tell me, compared to your random forest, how good or bad the decision tree is. Okay? And now we'll go around checking people, those who have got it working. So are you running on Google or are you running on your own machine?
On machine.
Maybe that's where the issue lies. Can you run it on Colab? Okay. Because then that also gives you code completion issues. Okay. Do you have Colab access or no?
I didn't access it.
Sorry?
I didn't access it earlier.
Then do you have a Google account?
Yes.
Kafi hai. So search Colab. Unless आप अपना पूरा कोटा यूज कर गए हैं अभी तक का. And it looks very much like a Jupyter notebook. And only reason है कि मुझे नहीं पता है आपने क्या क्या installed है. So that way I don't have to worry about your individual machine. So let's just start a new one. Yeah, that's it. And it's very much like a Jupyter notebook after that. What about you guys? Where are you stuck? So input to the table आपने कर दिया. So try and test कर लिया. Which is not working. क्यों नहीं कर? Unmatched syntax. Syntax करवा रहे बाबू कहीं. Extrain. वाली बात है. Space क्यों दे रहा हूँ यहाँ पर? Go back to that line. I will be able to do it. So here, space क्यों दे रहा हूँ यहाँ? This is not y space train, it's y underscore train. या फिर कुछ नाम दो, स्पेस वेरिएबल्स के नाम में नहीं रह सकता ना. Okay, that should work. हाँ, okay, gives so either एक single word बना दो or give a space. What about you two girls? There's an error, right? And you didn't think it worthy enough to tell it to me. You accepted the error as a way of life. No, there's an interpreter language. So that's the difference between a compiler and interpreter. Here, if the first line, one line doesn't work, how do you know the next line will work? It's not like life. You will exam fail किया अगला pass कर जाएंगे. Right? So always go for the first error and fix the first error before going down. Okay, so let's look at what's your error here. Data output values. Why data? ये line output है क्या आपका? So this is what. So here we counted the number of pass and fail. Okay. Now we are asking which column of our data contains the output. Now you are saying the output, the column labeled output, is the one which is containing my classifiers. Do you have a column labeled output in your data? What's the column? What's the name of the column? So because that's why it can't find that column. There is no column called output. So if we do pass / fail, that should work. What have I done? Okay, so that has worked now, right? Next is this line, labels. I don't think it's plural, but just check, okay? That's what it's saying. It cannot find labels. So don't be in a hurry to write the whole thing. If one line does not work, the other line will not work. Label, what's the spelling? It is labels. Labels. Spelling was wrong. Labels. Okay. Now the next line has got its own set of problems. But go line by line. Don't write the whole code and hope. Unfortunately, computers are not intelligent enough to look at your hope. Okay? Goody. What about you, girl? What's the error? Could not convert string to float. Go up. Go up. Go up. Up, 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 up. The error is in line number 3. So, there are 2 types of error in a computer code, at least 2 types of error. One is what we call as syntax error, which your syntax highlighter tells you. Other is called a functional error. So, computer program works fine, it just doesn't do what you wanted it to do. Okay? So, line number 3 worked fine, it read the database. The problem is, it read the database as it is. The first line of my database, look at your data set. Can you open it in Excel or any other? What's the first column? No, first column. That's not the first column. That's not the first column. That's the column VH. Go to the column A. First column. नहीं नहीं ये उसी में जाइए. Go in Excel. Go in Excel. Is this the first column? So Excel का column starts with column number A. It's a huge data. दिखेगा नहीं. पहला column क्या है? Make it bigger because it's right now it's showing. Make the first column bigger. क्या है? It's a timestamp, right? It's not a number. So when your CVS read has basically read it as a string, you have to tell it that it's a ensure in my data set there are timestamps. Numbers it reads automatically. But if it sees a timestamp, it's a time figure, right? It gives date and time. So can I have your computer? So what you need to do, let me come on else you'll never see it. So you need to do here, you need to tell it that yes, there are dates in my parts. Dates is equal to true. Okay, check as if dates are, and now hope I've written it properly. Now it is telling the first column is a date and time, but it's not thinking that's the index. It's still creating an index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to tell it my index is the time one. Okay, so here we will tell index is equal to time. Oopsie daisy, क्या कर दिया? What mistake have I done? At this point, my brain is dying. Index column, sorry. Index column is equal to. See. Now it says that's has become my index. So don't use that data for trading. Time data we are not going to use for trading, right? There's no advantage using it. गुड. आपका क्या हो रहा है? हो रहा है, कहाँ अटके हैं. तो अटकने पर आई नो यहाँ पर प्रोफेसर से काम नहीं कराया जाता, बट हम कह रहे हैं आप लोग मुझसे बोलिए, देन आई कैन हेल्प यू. सीधे अगर मैं लेक्चर दे के वापस चला जाऊं और आप लोग कुछ न सीखें तो फिर लेक्चर देने का फायदा क्या हुआ? और फिर मैं रात भर जाके कोड बनाने का फायदा क्या हुआ? टू चेक दैट द थिंग वर्क्स. और आई वुड हैव जस्ट गिवन यू कि इस तरह से रैंडम फॉरेस्ट काम करता है, आप जाके ट्राई कीजिए. सो क्या एरर दे रहा? With n samples is equal to 0, test size, adjust any of the aforementioned parameter. Okay. Let us see. इसके पहले हमने कुछ गड़बड़ किया है? हमने गड़बड़ किया है. The error lies in line number 5, and you have also done drop NAs as well. No, yeah. Okay, there. So the problem here is this. This data set has got not a single row or a column. यहाँ पर कुछ data missing नहीं है. So if you do here, after df drop head, there is no data here. There is just the column. No, so ये तो random column तो बाद में drop कर रहे हैं हम लोग. यहाँ पर you did df dot drop na. You basically said, so drop NA what it does, अगर कहीं भी एक data missing है तो it removes that row and that column, right? But there is not available data. So essentially we have got every row and column has got one data missing. So what it did, it removed everything. What are you left with? Just the top line. Okay, so पहली गलती वो की आपने. चलिए हम let's not drop anything. Let's delete the whole dropping business. And we might have to go to let's run. नहीं, अब जाके run हुआ. Now you can see I have the whole data. I still have a problem. Python ने assume नहीं नाम तो बाद में देखेंगे. Python assumed कि this is also data, but ये तो आपका index है ना. This is the index. It has created its own index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. तो हम लोग जब यहाँ पढ़ रहे हैं तभी हमें बोलना पड़ेगा इसको index underscore column is equal to time. So जिस कॉलम के ऊपर में टाइम लिखा हुआ है that's my index. तो अगर हम वो करें तो it says that has become my index. Now I might be lucky. Why is giving df 11? 11 to 11th column इसका हो जाएगा ना. Which column has got my output? So let's call it the pass fail column. That is my output data. Okay, ठीक, carry on. जनता ब्रेक लेते हैं. 12:30 हो गया. I'll just come and have a look at that side, and then we will take a lunch break and we'll come back after lunch break to finish it. आप लोग क्या हो रहा है? अटके हुए हैं या फिर गाड़ी चल गई है? What's going on? क्या हो रहा है भाई? आप लोगों को तो आना ही चाहिए. This is too easy. But random forest का रिजल्ट है, right? Yes. प्लॉट कर दीजिए. Because plot will tell you कहाँ पर where it's not predicting. Yes. Do decision tree. I thought by now you should have done decision tree and compared it to it.
Sir, I was done differently. Yes, I can.
नहीं, same code लिखिए ना. This in sklearn there is a decision tree as well. Don't write a code for decision tree. Okay? यही 4 line जो आपने लिखा है random forest classifier. Replace the word random forest classifier with decision tree classifier.
Automatically import that.
Huh. Okay? Good. Let's take a break, guys, and then we meet after lunch. Okay? What time are we meeting? 3 o'clock again today. Okay? Enjoy the lunch. Bye. Right. Good afternoon, and we are back. So one of the things which we said we will do right in the beginning, and I know we'll get back to our random forest soon, was that we will try to collect all your financial information and see if it makes sense. Unfortunately, we only have 18 people, so most probably none of the classifiers will work. But hey, we can always add some artificial data after that. So let's start by asking the question, what information should we collect and how we should collect? So considering there's a short room, we could do a questionnaire and all of you can fill a form. But that's not necessarily the best way of digitizing. So I started doing a Google form during the lunch break. But I thought rather than finishing it myself, why don't we do it together and see if you think any other information should be added. Because we have a hypothesis that our expenditure is dependent to our gender. And we are going to either prove it wrong or prove it right. Okay? So I thought a good thing to start would be some sort of identifier. No one should enter their name. Agreed? So some sort of identifier. Gender. Actually, we can make gender a binary question, can't we? Actually, we can't make a gender a binary question. Sorry. So let's make it a multiple choice question. So what are the choices we can? What's the legal requirement in India right now for gender? Does anyone know? What's the legal requirement when collecting gender data and what kind of gender options we have to provide? And? Actually, now that you have said that, I need to check. I thought third gender was to be included in all the forms. The transgendered community. Okay. Right, so let's make this form a multiple choice. So it becomes, so we will put male, female, others. Right. What other would we need? So rather than asking people date of birth, that will be too much. I guess year of birth is a decent discriminator, right? Because I thought maybe as you grow old, your expenditure either tapers or follows a different path. Things which I thought could add more data to us could be things like where do they live? If you live in a village, I guess your expenditure will be different. So rural, small town, medium-sized town, large city, and other. Is any other choice to be given there? And then, of course, this has to affect how you are doing it, right? With parents, in hostel, shared flat, or on your own. Will that be a concern? And then I thought this one, how frequently do you eat outside? It should not be a multiple choice question, it should be a short answer, right? Or should it be a multiple choice question? Why? Yeah, once a week. You're right. But it could be once a day as well, or twice a day for some people. Eat outside in a week. Let's give it in a week option. Now, to make life tricky for data analysis, this is what I want to do, to see if you can manipulate this data in Python. So we have got 12-month data, okay? If I go and fill a form for each month, I will have to create 12 questions, and I got tired of doing this. So I thought, let's ask people to enter data as in, comma separated. Simple, right? So January, February, just put 1000, 1000, and for 12 months, you should have 12 data samples. And if people also have their 23 data, then they give their 23 data as well. In place of name, put a random identifier which you think you will be able to identify yourself by, right? So I could go with my childhood name, Bhushan, which you guys don't know. Or, no, the cool boy from the hills, if you can think that. Anyway, I'm sure you know how to create unique identifier. Is there any other information which can tell us something about our expenditure? Or you think it will be good? It's an open discussion. But do you give college fee per month? But per 6 months. So it's not a monthly expenditure. Mess fee is a monthly expenditure. And does that vary dramatically between institutions? Does it? But the thing is, if you take out mess fee from your instrumentation, you don't have much costs. And the other thing is that 2 people or 3 people studying in the same place will have the same mess fee or similar-ish mess fee. Let's leave that question. One of the reason I'm thinking is, of course, then you can ask people who eat non-vegetarian food will have higher expenditure than people who eat vegetarian food. And I don't want my data set to become too complex. But because if you start looking in that, then there are no binary divisions here. Anything else which is easy to explain about people? Do we have enough data sample on that value? The thing which would be worth checking is things like people who have long hair, what's their cost of shampoo compared to people who have hair like me? Right? Do we have enough differentiator? Maybe not. Okay, so let's submit this form. So on the share drive there, all of you guys have access to this form. Okay, so you can fill, that's the final form. You can fill the form, it will automatically create an Excel sheet. And then we will try to ask the inverse question, not the direct question first. So direct question first was girls spend more money. Okay, I don't believe in that. Let's do the inverse question. Looking at the expenditure, can you tell the gender? So you train a software saying something. So how many we have got? About 4, 5, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16. I won't add mine because my expenditure will be in euros, so that will become quite low. We have about 16 data points here. So 16 into 12 becomes 250 odd data points, right? So we have decent number of data points. So what we do is we train for, say, 14 into 12, and then ask it to then put 2 of them as testing samples and see if it can predict whether you are a man or a woman based on your expenditure. Okay? So, but first that ensures that all of you will enter a figure, a truthful figure. So we'll run for next 5 minutes. You can go on your computer and give us this data and we'll see how quickly the data comes. Is everyone clear? सबकी समझ में आ रहा है क्या करना है? And don't worry, आपके माता पिता को ये डेटा नहीं जाएगा. एक्चुअली मैं सारे क्वेश्चन को इलेक्टिव बना देता हूँ, इसलिए सो दैट अगर कोई नहीं कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन डालना चाहे तो वो भी होगा, सो दैट वी विल गेट सम नॉट डेटा. आपको अगर if you open that link you should get that questionnaire, right? questionnaire मिल रहा है, इसका नाम just data collection forms है उस लिंक पर. एंड बगल वाले का डेटा नहीं देखना है या फिर बगल वाली का लिंक मिला आपको? आप लोग को लिंक है यहाँ पर? गुड. यू गाइज हैव द लिंक? I must confess, जब मैंने कोर्स प्लानिंग किया था, this was nowhere in my plan of things. I will be asking this silly question, but are you kidding me? So one thing before you do a study, it's always a good idea to look कि किसी और गधे ने study किया है क्या? The first part of doing research. Somebody asked me a question about how to get in research. That's how you start by doing. And this is what annoys you the most. I've got a bright idea and look at the first search result. Average monthly expenditure of a student by gender. Let's see, is this a meaningful data or is it just a... खुल जाओ भाई. Interesting. So let me see how many of you have. अभी तक एक भी रिस्पॉन्स नहीं. Okay. What happened? Sorry? एक मिनट रुको. So you're not getting a submit option. Just give me a second. Just give me. I know. Wait, हमने publish तो किया ही है इसको. Okay. I got it. Just a second. forms.google.com. So this. I have published it. Now I've got 2 responses now. So somebody can submit, right? And for heaven's sake, Pratyush, नाम बदलने को कहा था भाई, एनोनिमाइज डेटा कलेक्ट करने को कहा था। सर हम लोग हिंदुस्तानी आधार कार्ड तो सबको देते चलते हैं। Can do you guys are getting link form or नहीं? By default Nepal. I mean ideally, but देखते हैं कैसा। I can. अरे हम लोग तो पता चलने वाला था कि आपके कितने। Let's see. How do I delete it? Okay, you are deleted. So I have 2 responses till now. 2 response पे हम कोई data analysis नहीं कर पाएंगे। हम एक analysis कर पाएंगे, वो that would be of. So if I only have 2 data sets, what analysis could I do? हम correlation कर सकते हैं दोनों लोगों के बीच में। एक person का future forecast कर सकते हैं moving average analysis से या फिर linear regression लगा के, right? But the rest of it is actually not that surprisingly different. There's only a subtle different variation here and there. All right? Accommodation, okay, there's subtle difference here and there. Clothing and toiletries, there's a subtle difference. This is surprising. It's exactly the same. Transport costs, well, it's a public sector, so you can see transport costs have become the same. Okay. Interesting. Good. So let me see where have we reached with our data collection. हमारे पास 15 लोग हैं. I think should I stop it now? Everyone has done. कोई बचा है? You are still there. Wait करें? We will wait. So I will wait for the last person to submit. कुछ interesting data analysis तो इससे मैं already कर सकता हूँ मैं. So here are the names of the people. Because I can see, so Google Forms already gives you quite a lot of data features automatically, so you don't need to go down. So we start with Hermit, which is a girl, Parrot, which is a man. Then comes John Carter. Then Tulsi Das Khan, Tripti as a woman, Spider-Man, Meera as a girl, GIAN as a male, TIA as a girl, Duck as a girl. इसलिए और किसी जानवर का नाम नहीं याद आ रहा है, किस नाम के जानवर के जाए. Men, Guru, हमें तो ऑलरेडी आ चुका है सब कुछ. Sarah as a girl, Pagani or Pajani as a male, Bluff as a woman, Jeet as a man, and Elsa as a woman. Somebody has seen Frozen movies quite a lot. Good. So while I do the analysis, let's go back to our. So हम लोग शुरू कर रहे थे just before the lunch break. A number of you were looking at. Just a second. Can I somehow share my screen? Because मैं इस कंप्यूटर पर लॉगिन नहीं करना चाहता, पब्लिक मशीन है ना. I've got a just वो अगर लगा सके, even if it's not seen to have shown to everyone else. To everyone else, we can leave it here. Where is your projector connected? So we just connect the projector. Or would it be too messy? It's already too messy. Okay, leave it. Leave it. Let's. Leave it. Let's see if this. What I can certainly do. Sorry, मेरा network connectivity थोड़ा आज fishy हो रहा है. Save. Download. Okay, we have got the data now, all of it. And this is classically going to tell you the first process. अभी तक जो भी data samples आप लोग handle किए हैं, they all have been nice data. Properly structured data, nicely entered. हर column में एक data था. And this short exercise immediately tells us the problem faced with people who collect data. We had, and the moment we gave free flow entry to people, they took their own liberty in ways they enter. There's nothing wrong or right about it. This is what happens whenever you collect data. So we had people who had entered just pure numbers. We had people who entered 1000 and put a comma there, and then there's another comma, so it's going to become very difficult for us. Which comma means what? Okay? थोड़ी difficulty होगी हमें? Because we were thinking comma is just separating by month, but now we have comma in 1000 as well. There are people who also just entered their normal expenditure and rest all they said fine baki kharcha aage hai. Okay, so and then there were people who entered zero information in some months. So we already have diversity in data. So our first task will be to clean this data. Before I give it to any operating system, I need to clean this thing. So things which I need to clean are also here. Look at how frequently do we eat outside. We have got numbers. We have got alphanumeric characters. We have got other things. So either I run another chat GPT kind thing and ask it to translate on an AI intruder, or I run if it was a very long list, my life would have been very tricky. And this was precisely the reason I made people to enter this information as a chart. And there are people who have somehow managed to eat outside and still have 000 rupees expenditure. पहले ये बताओ कि कौन support कर रहा है यार, I want to be with that person. But that's perfectly fine. And this is precisely the reason I asked you guys to not enter your name, so that I can make fun of your entry without you knowing what's going on. And there's a problem all data analysis suffers. Now, assume this was a sensor, right? हम sensor से data collect करें. That just means the sensor went wobbly-dobbly at that time. Right? It started entering proper information, and after a while it said, you know what, things are not working. Okay? So other thing which you might have to do, you might have to remove, there are a lot of people with zero. What's going on? कुछ गड़बड़ लग रहा है ना? Oh, do you think it's 5,000? But then there are loads of zeros. This does not make sense. कुछ सही नहीं लग रहा है. Let me have a look. This might also be when you translate data from responses to Google Sheets, but I can see actual information of everyone. So the first person who is problematic is number 3, who is John Carter. And why am I not surprised John Carter is problematic? No, okay. That makes sense. Can I make it bigger? So it's not 00, it's presumably 12,000, and for some reason that number 12 is not visible. Okay? So it's not 0 rupees, it's 12,000. 12,000 rupees mein aap 2 baar bahar kha rahe ho. You should be eating more, right, for 12,000 rupees. Anyway, so I will do the data cleaning and pruning while in the background. Let's see where we were when it comes to